Hello everyone. First, let me introduce myself. I am Nikhil Gaurav from Civil Engineering Department, Faculty of Engineering, University of Lucknow. In this small presentation, we will talk about Bhopal Gas Tragedy, the night of death, the night which changed everything in Bhopal. Let's get started. So coming to the contents here, first, we will talk about the background of Union Carbide. Second, we will talk about the chemical reaction in the plant. Third, we'll talk about the layout of the Bhopal plant. Further, we will talk about the safety systems which were installed in case of MIC leak. Um, Further, we will discuss the events which took place before the specific tragedy. After that, we'll discuss the events which occurred on that specific date. Next, we'll talk about the theories for the cause of the tragedy. Next, we'll talk about after effects of disaster. Next, we will talk about what happened to the law, how law changed, how environment legislation has changed in India after the Bhopal gas tragedy. Then we'll talk about fate of the company, and at the last we'll talk about the lessons we learned from this Bhopal gas tragedy. Moving on, we have a background of Union Carbide. Basically, this Union Carbide Corporation is an American firm which implanted their plant in Bhopal in 1969. This plant started making carbamate pesticides and chemical imported from US. In 1975, they got license to manufacture Carbide pesticides, which is also called 7. In 1979, production started and capacity of the plant was 5,250 tons per year. But due to decrease in demand, they decreased their production to 2,704 tons per year in 1981, and then it goes down to uh, 1,657 tons per year in 1983. Moving next, we have the chemical reaction in the plant. So here it is. Firstly, monomethylamine is added to phosgene to form the product methyl isocyanate, which is called MIC. In the next, we have alpha naphthol is added to MIC to form the product 7. Moving further, we have the Bhopal plant layout, as you can see here. Moving forward, we have the diagrammatical layout of the plant. This is vent gas scrubber, flare tower, water curtain, MIC tank storage, MIC storage tanks. We have here this refrigeration system. Moving further, safety systems installed in case of MIC leak. So हमारे पास में बहुत सारे सेफ्टी सिस्टम को ऐड किया गया था अगर इन केस MIC मिथाइल आइसोसाइनेट अगर लीक होता है तो इन दैट केस वेंट गैस स्क्रबर को इंस्टॉल किया गया था टू यूज caustic soda to neutralize toxic gas exhaust from MIC plant. जो भी MIC plant से toxic gases निकलेंगी उसको caustic soda को यूज करते हुए उसको न्यूट्रलाइज करेगा. फिर फ्लेयर टावर का काम ये था. सेकेंड वी हैव फ्लेयर टावर का काम ये था कि जो टॉक्सिक गैसेस थी उनको जलाने का. नेक्स्ट वी हैव रेफ्रिजरेशन सिस्टम. रेफ्रिजरेशन सिस्टम की जो कैपेसिटी थी वह थी 30 टन और उसका काम था कि जो MIC प्लांट है उसका टेम्परेचर 0 to 5 डिग्री सेल्सियस के बीच में मेंटेन करके रखने का. सो हियर वी हैव firewater spray pipes. It was used to control escaping gases and cooling overheated equipments. Next, we have a safety valve. This safety valve was placed between MIC storage tanks and MIC holding tanks in Seven production area. Then we have extra tanks. Tank E610 and E611 were used for normal use, and there was an extra tank which is E619, which is used for emergency. So next we have events prior to the tragedy. So in December 1981, medical officer brought into notice the hazard posed by the factory. Plant operator killed killed by phosgene gas leak. In January 1982, 24 persons affected by phosgene, and in February 1982, 18 persons affected by MIC leak. Moving further, in May 1982, as reported by the Americans on UCC plant, reported leaks of phosgene, MIC, and chloroform, uh, ruptures in pipework and seal joints, poor adjustments of certain devices where excessive pressure could lead to water entering the circuits. Moving forward in 1983, all energy concentrated on cost cutting. 200 skilled workers were asked to resign. Only one person in control room. In June 1984, 30-ton refrigeration unit cooling the MIC was shut down. In October 1984, a vent gas scrubber was turned off, flare was extinguished. Next, the chronology of events on 2nd December 1984. So, starting from 8 to 9 p.m., the temperature of MIC tank was 15 to 26 degrees Celsius, which should be below 5 degrees Celsius. Around 9:30, one bleeder valve blocked, water accumulated in pipes. Water entered in relief valve. So, and around 10:30, water flows in E610 tank. Change of shift occurs, and water washing still continues. Between 11 to 12, yeah, between 11 to 12, pressure rise in tank and MIC leak. To stop the leak, uh, water spray was done. Around 12:30, pressure indicator of tank E610 shows maximum pressure. Rumbling sounds were coming from the tank. Then next scrubber को यूज करा गया but caustic soda flow नहीं हुआ. Then after in then from 1240 onwards, uh, cloud of gas escapes from plant. ऑपरेटर्स ने फायर वाटर स्प्रे चलाया बट वो क्लाउड्स तक नहीं पहुंच पाया. E610 टैंक को कूल करने की कोशिश की गई बट 2 घंटे में गैस पूरी की पूरी एस्केप कर गई थी. Now we have the theories for the cause of the event. So this tragedy occurred due to the exothermic reaction between MIC, which is methyl isocyanide, and water, which led us to the theories. First one is water washing theory, which was taken by Indian government, which was considered by Indian government. इसको Indian government ने consider किया. And second, we have sabotage theory, which was taken into consideration by Union Carbide Corporation (UCC). Next, yeah, we have water washing theory. So In water washing theory, media played an important role in establishing this theory. This theory explains कि जब workers clogged pipe को clean कर रहे so this theory explains कि जब workers clogged pipes को clean कर रहे थे as a routine maintenance, वो सही प्रोसीजर से नहीं चल रहे थे. They were not following the specific rules and regulations. Further, उन्होंने स्लिप ब्लाइंड प्लेट को इंसर्ट ही नहीं करा था जो कि वाटर को टैंक में जाने से रोकता है. जो पानी नोजल के थ्रू जाने वाला था वहां रस्टिंग हो चुकी थी जिस वजह से वाटर बैक्ड अप इनटू द पाइपलाइन एंड देन फाउंड द वे टू द टैंक सिंस slip blind was not present. Coming next to the sabotage theory. So this investigation was done by engineering consulting firm Arthur D. Little. They said that कि कोई एम्प्लॉय ने टैंक में जानबूझकर पानी डाल दिया है by removing meter and connecting the water hose. They claimed that इतना सारा पानी accidentally इसमें नहीं जा सकता है. UCC found three main weak points in the water washing theory. That water head was not enough to push such a large quantity of 2000 lbs of water into the MIC tank. वाटर हेड में इतनी एनर्जी नहीं थी कि 2000 lbs का पानी MIC टैंक में वो वापस भेज सकें. The intermediate line found dry and intermediate valve was uh, found closed after the accident. So further, talking about the weather conditions. So talking about the weather of that day, उस दिन मॉइस्चर ज्यादा था जिसकी वजह से गैस तुरंत से ग्राउंड में एंटर कर गई. हल्की सी हवा भी चल रही थी जिसकी वजह से काफी ज्यादा एरिया अफेक्ट हो गया इन अ शॉर्टर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. सो नेक्स्ट सपोर्टिंग इवेंट्स. यूसीसी के रूल्स को फॉलो नहीं करा गया था. MIC का टेम्परेचर 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस था जबकि मैक्सिमम 5 डिग्री सेल्सियस ही होना चाहिए था. फ्लेयर एंड वेंट गैस स्क्रबर वर शट डाउन फ्रॉम 5 months. MIC टैंक alarms had not worked for years. The steam boiler intended to क्लीन द पाइप. जो स्टीम बॉयलर पाइप को क्लीन करने के लिए रखे गए थे वो ड्यू टू एन अननोन रीजन वो चल ही नहीं रहे थे. सो इन द कंटिन्यूएशन वी हैव गैस लीक फ्रॉम 30 मीटर हाई चिमनी जिसे रोकना मुश्किल था. लैक ऑफ अवेयरनेस थी कि MIC से क्या होता क्या नहीं होता, उसके कॉजेज उसके इफेक्ट्स को किसी को नहीं पता था. वहां पे स्किल्ड लेबर्स की कमी थी. बहुत सारे लोग वहां पे आसपास में रहते थे जो कि सारे ही अफेक्ट हो गए थे. मूविंग फर्दर, या as you can see here are the after effects of the disaster. We can show this through the image. These were the after effects of the disaster. In 1983, in 1993, a survey was conducted under which respiratory diseases they affected थे 65.7% people, neurological issues थे 68.4% लोगों को, reproductive issues was to 43.2% people. In 1990, BGIA ने एक टेस्टिंग कराई थी सिटीजन एनवायरमेंटल लैब बॉस्टन के थ्रू जिसमें 7 toxic chemicals were found. Lead and mercury were found in breast milk samples, told by Greenpeace. So, talking about effects on health and environment, poorly understood, 1,20,000 chronic survivors were there. There were issues related to respiratory, um, consisting chronic bronchitis, TB. There were ocular issues like chronic conjunctivitis, corneal opacity. There were reproductive issues, pregnancy loss, which consist of pregnancy loss, higher infant mortality. There were gastrointestinal problems, which consist of hyperacidity, chronic gastritis. Uh, there were neurological issues like full memory loss or impaired memory, or impaired motor skills. There were genetic damage to the plants. Rivers and lakes were polluted by the chemicals, which destroyed all the aquatic and killed aquatic animals. So next, moving to West abandonment. So there were 350 metric tons of toxic waste found. Greenpeace announced global toxic hotspot. Heavy metals were found in soil and groundwater. The heavy metals like dichlorobenzene, hexachlorobutadiene, uh, trichloroethene, mercury, lead, cadmium. There were 16 communities affected, which consist of 25,000 people due to poisonous drinking of water. Hexachlorobutadiene can affect the kidney. It makes it toxic, a possible human carcinogen. Uh, Moving next, trichloroethene, it impairs fetal development. So, moving further to waste abandonment, 350 metric tons of toxic waste were found. Greenpeace announced that spot to be a global toxic hotspot. Groundwater and soil contaminated with heavy metals and carcinogenic chemicals like dichlorobenzene, hexachlorobutadiene, ट्राइक्लोरोइथीन, मर्क्यूरी, लेड, कैडमियम। वहां पे 16 कम्युनिटीज के लोग थे, 25,000 लोग थे वहां पे, जिनका जो ड्रिंकिंग वाटर था वो पॉइजनस था, विच कंटेन्ड हेक्साक्लोरोब्यूटाडीन एंड ट्राइक्लोरोइथीन, जिसकी वजह से उनकी किडनी में जहर भर गया, अ पॉसिबल ह्यूमन कार्सिनोजन। ट्राइक्लोरोइथीन की वजह से it impaired the fetal development. So next, moving to after Bhopal gas tragedy, how environment legislation has changed in India. भोपाल गैस ट्रेजेडी के बाद में according to law कौन-कौन से changes आए towards the environment. So the Indian government passed and implemented the Environment Protection Act of 1986 under Article 253, जिसके अंदर में its purpose was to provide protection to an improvement of environment and prevention of hazards for living creatures. This act strengthens the regulations on pollution control and environment protection by hazardous industries. The act provides the center with the power to make rules for environment protection. The Act has 7 schedules specifically laying down the rules for emission or discharge of pollutants from industries, prescribing emission of smoke, etc. from vehicle. Next, we have under the Section 25 of EPA 1986, under another set of rules were passed, which was Hazardous Waste Management and Handling Rules 1989. It issues the notification that the industry which generate the waste is responsible for the proper management and handling of the waste. The EIA notification of 1994, Environmental Impact Assessment Notification 1994, includes almost all kinds of activities which could harm the environment in any way. It also established a right to know, that is public hearing, through which एक कोई सीधा साधा आम आदमी भी अपनी आवाजों को ऊंचा कर सकेगा, किसी भी एक फर्म के या कंपनी के अगेंस्ट वो भी खड़ा हो सकता है, अपनी आवाज को, अपने बातों को वो रख सकता है. So basically a lot of transparency was included in the system for the validation of any developmental project. So further moving on to the fate of the company. In 1989, the company paid 450 million US dollars to the victims, which was around 10,000 rupees per victim. Now, Warren Anderson के ऊपर charges लगाए गए. In 1999, Dow Chemicals purchased EUCIL in 3.9 billion US dollars, and after that, Dow Chemicals refused to take responsibility for the toxic waste. Moving on, so we have the lessons we learned from this Bhopal gas tragedy. So these are the recommendations for the prevention. On the first layer, we have immediate technical recommendations. On the second layer, we have recommendations to avoid the hazards. On the third layer, we have recommendations to improve management system. Next, we have control building factories near major hazards. Public concern compelled other companies to improve standards and provide and practice emergency plans. So this was all my presentation. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.